This is Van Electric Ghost, and we haven't had a episode in a while because I've been working hard. I'm in between gigs trying to get a good main job again so we can support our music. Right now we're 100% ride sharing for Uber and Lyft, which I appreciate those two companies. So, give them a hand. Otherwise, I might be on unemployment or food stamps. Other than that, we're very excited that we're on Bentley Records. So this episode, Peg, Expansive Tracks, and Bentley Records singles. We just put out a bunch of new singles, and we're going to rattle them off. They're all on Amazon. They're on all the other streaming services, but we're kind of pushing them on Amazon because as an artist, as any artist, if you buy the Amazon version of our songs, you will really support the Ghost and Peg and Josephine and Stephanie in a way that's very, helpful to an artist. So we are encouraging people to go to Amazon and actually buy our records there. So we've got a bunch of stuff through Bentley. We've got what we put out last week, the trio of singles, Violence is Never Okay, Teeth, Gnashed, Crass, and Expansive Romancing. Those came out on the 17th. Now, on the 24th, we just released Zephyr Wind Blown and Causality Heavy Lifting. And so this is about our Bentley singles, but we are on another label called Mojo Heads, and we've got a 2-song EP called You Still Have Some Personal Demons to Betray with a remix and our original version. And those songs are doing very well. They've increased our monthly listeners exponentially on Spotify. We've gone from like 22 monthly listeners to 145. So we're very happy about that. So that song was, we were contacted Mojo Heads, and they have a relationship with Bianino, and he indicated that he liked this song. And this is a heavy Moog song. The remix has got some really nice EDM rhythmic flourishes that were done. It's a very awesome record. You ought to check it out. We've got, a pretty cool relationship with these labels, but we're going to get back into the Bentley songs. So on top of the songs that we just released through Bentley, we do have some songs that we're working on toward Violets. Now, Violets is our album that we've got an arrangement with Bentley Records that they're going to let us put out a record on top of like singles that we'll be able to release periodically like we have been. So the album we're working on is called Violets, which goes back to this idea of a violet being a kind of symbol or foretelling or foreboding of something that could happen that is darker, that could be violent, could be destructive. And so this beautiful flower could be a symbol of something coming that's not so beautiful. And so Violets has got this kind of, like, the music can be thought of as being beautiful, but it's kind of got some horror aspects. It's got some darkness. It's got some pain. Like the Dark Ghost concept, we've been kind of reeling from the pain of, mortal things like people passing away, natural disasters, relationships falling apart, partnerships dissolving, and, the ideas of, what could have been with some things. Sometimes in life, you have a moment in time where you're really connected to somebody, you've got a great idea, and then you just you fuck it up, and it just falls apart, and it's your fault, or it's the fates, or it was never going to work, or you just didn't, see it the same way the other person saw it, or put as much love into it as the other person did, or you put too much love into it. So a lot of what we've been doing for the last 2 years with our Dark Ghost series of records, which Violets is part of, is kind of, dealing with the pain of that relationship falling apart. And everybody who knows me can kind of figure out what happened there and who that person is, but we're not going to get into that. You can kind of figure out by listening to my music. So the song we have that we wrote, that's an original song as part of this episode, called CV Belief, which is Josephine Electric, is the lead singer of Ham Electric Ghost. We have a new episode and channel for her on Anchor. We just had her talk about the Mojohead's release, and we're going to have her talk about these songs in a separate episode, the new Bentley releases, plus these new songs here. More periodically, we're going to have Josephine show up on her own Anchor FM podcast. So CV belief is this idea that, that Josephine believes in analog, as being the truth, it being, there's this something about analog that feels real, it feels original, it feels right to her. And basically she feels like, with a controlled voltage allows you to kind of have wires plugged in. And she's just got this idea that she's kind of mixing the idea of a wire, CV wire being plugged into a modular synth with, fornication or fucking or orgasms. So she just feels like analog electronic subtractive synthesis, it kind of feels like sex when you get into it. I heard Bernie Worrell from Funkadelic basically said when he played his Moog, he felt like he was making love to it. And Josephine feels like, she is a synth being. She was created from Roland vocoders, being mixed into Moog filters and Arturia filters and make noise math modules. She's an electronic synthesis being created by CV. So her very existence is from controlled voltage. And the idea, that she was born of subtractive synthesis, where she's equating this little electricity with sex. And the CV belief is, it's that kind of honesty with analog that is always going to kind of trump digital, in my opinion. Now, digital we use, and in my own workshop, within my workflow, I have a lot of digital equipment. But the analog equipment in the last 2 years has really made the ghost sound. And Josephine's just, doing homage to our deference to analog. So that's that sort of song that's on deck on this episode. And then we have Wrecked, Warped, and Overwhelmed, which kind of goes into what I was just talking about. It was the idea that you have a relationship where you just, the world kind of just gets warped because you have been kind of blindsided by your own passion. So we're going to play a little bit of that for a second to see if you can kind of feel it. So what's going on with this song is another convergence of modern technology with analog. We use the OPZ from Teenage Engineering to create the drum beat for the song. And then we took our modular synths, we took our Arturia Mini Brute 2S, we took our not Mini Moog, but we took our Mother 32 and our DFAM, running them through the maths module from it's a function generator, and created a really gritty kind of guitar-focused synth sound. That when you hear that lead synth sound over that Teenage Engineering beat, you got this kind of hybrid that we find it's very. We thought it was very powerful and very divergent to have the digital nature of the 16-track OPZ, which is very controlled, very tight, but then have the kind of wild, like power lead that is like Emerson, Lake and Palmer. It's kind of Hendrixian, but it's coming from an analog sense. There's this idea of the CV belief again in practice of that you can really like fuck everybody up with the sound coming from these Moogs and these analog synths. If you heard it come from Marshall Stack, you step back. It's it's the Moog. It's really and it's kind of like there's something in the ether when you touch a modular synth. Every day I get into my modular synth and I watch things from Loop Pop. I watch things from Anderson's. I watch all kinds of stuff from a lot of synth gurus online. But it's really just the experimentation. Once you have a modular synth and you start like just seeing what you can do, you play with sample and hold, you play with different, frequency modulation, pulse width modulation, you play with like controlling oscillators with LFOs and controlling envelopes with LFOs and just doing all kinds of crazy things. And you do it from the perspective of a musician looking for a certain sound or looking to hear something different. And the thing is, like, the analog synths don't disappoint. Like, and you don't have to worry about having to pay somebody for a new patch because you keep on creating. The only problem I find sometimes is, I kind of get lazy and I don't take a picture of my settings, and then it's kind of like that setting's like lost. The only way I have it is I actually recorded it onto my Zoom R24, which then we can go and say, well, Keith, the flip side of digital is I can actually sample what I put down on my R24 and then bring it into something like an Akai Force or bring it into my Make Noise Morphogene and then use it, which I do. I mean, I take a lot of tones that I create that I can't get back to and put them into my Morphogene and then use it, the Morphogene as an oscillator to actually be able to play that tone again, which gives you a kind of cheating way, but it's not cheating. You created your own track and you're using your own gear to use it, but either way. So this idea that, wrecked, overwhelmed is like, she's just, Josephine's just being acknowledged as like, yeah, I'm not well. I'm not okay. I'm still really tragically affected by the breakup of this relationship, which we've gone through in this song. We've talked about it in a bunch of songs like Sonic Twin, Dark Ghost, Souls Never to Move Toward, unreleased stuff. It's somewhat released. We put it out as singles on Spotify. Highest Tree in the Canopy, which is a favorite. I mean, Highest Tree in the Canopy, everyone wants to know, that song really documents my lowest point and highest point with this individual where the whole thing fell apart. It's a really good, man, we end up getting like, over 400 or 500 streams on that song when we first put it out. Because it's honest as we can be with the way we felt about this person. Sonic Twin is another song that went the way we felt about him. But we think that the Highest Tree in the Canopy really shows, what we really felt. And how we put it into music is, maybe it would be better if I could just call the person on the phone and talk to them. But sometimes when you're a songwriter, you end up putting into lyrics. Fleetwood Mac is probably a good example. Lindsey Buckingham and Stevie Nicks kind of talking past each other with their songs. Sometimes it's like a songwriter has an easier time writing it in a song than actually going up to the person and telling them. So maybe that's a personal problem, but I find myself, I identify with that. I identify with what Lindsey did and what Stevie did on Rumors. I've kind of been a big fan of music forever. Singer-songwriters from Dylan, Hendrix, Conor Oberst, any great singer-songwriter. They put sometimes into their songs things that they can't even tell people face to face. And I think this song is a good example of in the tradition of like Sonic Twin and Highest Tree in the Canopy. If people want to check my catalog, you see what I'm talking about. Those songs are all on Spotify and SoundCloud. They are originally tracked for Dark Ghost Volume 1, which has been kind of delayed since we got these new deals to be on these record labels. Violets is the big thing we're working toward, which is going to be on Bentley Records. And, the songs that we've been putting on SoundCloud for the last couple months and the releases that you see here, like the 5 releases we just talked about, are pretty much all going to go on Violets unless we see, that there's certain songs that don't really kick it. But we're going to get to the other song, Causality, Heavy Causality. Now, Heavy Causality is another interesting song. It's totally OPZ. Now, when we did The Flower That Blooms at Midnight in the Tomb and Record Symphony number 9 or number 8, we used the OPZ for those albums that we self-published, and they're everywhere. But we think Heavy Causality shows an ability to use the OPZ that goes beyond what we did on The Flower and Record Symphony. We really got this bass line that we just we took it and we looked at it and said, well, we're going to replicate that with our Moog. We said no, we just brought it into an MX1 performance mixer, and then brought it into a Zoom, and we thought of putting other tracks on top of this song, but this song came out from us just jamming on an OPZ, because an OPZ, you can play it like a Moog. You can kind of play with the step components and the manual override to like invoke soloing. And this song is really us riffing on the bass lines that an OPZ can do. And we felt that it was just really good track. Eventually we made another version where we put a guitar over it. And it's the same song, but it has a different character because it's got a guitar line. But this version of the song we really like. We put it out, and we want to use it as like 2 songs on the album. That like this version will be kind of a more acoustic bass oriented song, and then the guitar heavy one will probably be the last song on the album. So we're thinking of opening up this Violet's album with Violet Embrace, which you can probably hear on SoundCloud. We haven't talked about that song yet, but it's a heavy kind of song, kind of like a fantasy murder craziness song. But Josephine's basically envisioning like murder, but saying that that's not okay. You can have these feelings, or you can be very like passionate and upset and very angry, and you can kind of talk about it in allegory or talk about it within art, but never act on it. So she's basically saying, violence is never okay. It's the original song. So it's got the Violet Embrace is kind of the flip side of Josephine's personality, is that she is, a Gemini. She is, dark and light. She is, both sides of the coin. And so she can go pretty crazy. And this song shows like, the darkness of a dark ghost concept of where you can go. But we'll talk about that song later. But it's just the whole idea that Violet portends violence. Violet Embrace is kind of symptomatic of that. And we really like it. We've had a good response to the Instagram version we've put up. So if you guys want to know what I'm talking about, you go to my Instagram and you'll see some 1-minute clips of Violet Embrace. And I think I have a full Instagram movie of the song if you're interested. But that is probably going to be the opening song to Violets. And these songs here, probably Wrecked, Warped, and Overwhelmed is going to be on the album. CV Belief, I'm not sure. But yeah, we're making strides with these songs. But again, check us out on all the streaming services. We were supposed to interview the French twin punk Riot Girl, amazing act, the Soap Girls, who are just, deathly beautiful, total punks. They could go out there and do traditional, pop music, but they're doing what I love is a punk aesthetic in a tradition of a girly sound, like a Liz Phair sound, like L7, the Runaways, Joan Jett, Sleater Kinney. They are Riot Girls incarnate. They are the real thing, and their beauty is just amazing. They're a French act, so they've got this kind of classiness and sexuality that you don't see in American bands. It's just amazing, and they just have a awesome presence. We were supposed to interview them today. They had some problems on the road, so we're going to do it on Sunday. We really like to push the bands that we talk to, that we're going to be pushing their music. They've got an amazing album from 2017. It's really good. They're out with their new tour. Yeah, they smell my strap, I think. And it's like they are an amazing act. You go see them. They're in tradition of Pussy Liquor. Like again, I said L7, The Runaways, PJ Harvey, Wendy O. Williams. They're a great act. I mean, I would love to see them. And I'd love to be on their tour. But I digress. But yeah, we're very happy about what we're doing with Bentley and Mojo Heads. We finally, after 30 years, we got signed to do some labels. We're having some traction. We want to increase our monthly listenership exponentially from under 30 listeners to over 147 on Spotify. That might not sound like a lot, but exponential growth is always the right direction when you're a band. We're hoping to hit 1K within a couple of months into monthly listeners and try to push it to 10K. And we know that is possible because, just a year ago on Anchor, we were at 200 listeners. Now we're at 1,400 listens in total since we started with sponsors. And we've interviewed more than 20 bands in the last 2 years between when we started on Spearman. And we're just excited for what we're doing. And we hope that you keep on joining us for what we're doing with this music. And we're just going to keep on pushing Expansive Sound and interviewing every indie band from every genre that we like, which is many. We've interviewed country rockers, country musicians, DJs, punk rockers, EDM groups, electronic musicians, actors like Jess Davis, artists or like Chernobello.com, who did our first cover for To Infinitum, our album with All Control K. So we've been all over the map. We're always looking to interview as many people as possible. Every type of art form out there from TV, film, and music. So if you're interested in what we're doing and you want to help support us, please support our podcast. Donate. We accept donations. We will continue to strive to interview indie artists around the world. If you want to continue, if you like what we do, please donate, become a monthly subscriber. It would be really cool for you to do that, and we will appreciate it. There's things that we can do for you in terms of giving you some sneak previews of stuff and sending you audio files, which we write all the time. So yeah, check us out. We won't be disappointed in what we can provide you. Please support indie music, support us, and we'll talk to you later.
Analog is something I can't believe in. Gotta stick that CV in. Analog is everything. I don't believe in that digital sin. Gotta stick it in. CV to CV to me. And CV to CV to get it to me. Oh, get it. Me, you get it with me. Analog is something I can believe in. It's something that I like better than that digital sin. Oh, you just can't stick it in. Dirty as I want it to be. Bad as I wanted to believe, dirty as I wanted to see, it's something I can't believe. Analog is something I can believe in. It's not like that digital sin, stealing from the past, and then shaking your ass. Analog is something I can believe in. Something I can really stick it in. It's not like stealing from the past. Digital sampling for your ass. Analog is something I can believe in. I like something I can CB to CBN. I can really put it in. Not like that digital sin. Sampling and stealing and again and again and again. Analog is something I can believe in. Something I create and I put it in. CB to CB to me. And then it feels more like a dream. It's not like that digital sin. Sampling it and stick it in. Sampling doesn't stick it in. A CB and a CB, a CB to me feels more like a dream. A sample in the past and giving it up. Sampling in the past and giving it a fuck. Something I can't believe in. It's not like that digital sin. The symboling from the past. You're jumping up like a monkey on your ass. The symboling from the past. Jumping like a monkey shaking on your ass. Analog is something I can't believe in. Not like that, digital sin. Sampling from the past. CBJ is shaking in your ass. Sampling from the past. The CBJ is shaking your ass. CB and the CB in it to me. Gonna feel it like a booklet dream. CB and the CB in it to me. CB and the CB in it to me. A 505, 555. 510, keep it alive. Just give me an SH5. That's all I need to stay alive. And just give me an SH5. And that's all I need to stay alive. Just give me an SH5. And that's all I need to stay alive. Just give me an SH5, and then I don't even have to get high. Break, war, under your spell. Break, war, can't you tell? By my wounds, you can tell how hard I fell. By my wounds, you know I'm not well. Correct or not well. Correct or I'm wounded, can't you tell? But you know the self is hell. You can tell by my wounds how hard I fell. Correct or a wretched spell. You can tell by my wounds how hard I fell. And you know I'm torn in myself. And you know I'm bored. I'm drowning in that self. No No, not forward. Backwards into hell. A sound. Untoward wretch. Oh, that's it. That's no spec. And untoward wretch. That's X. Oh, that little dead. No respect. No consent. Rainbow bend. Rainbow bend. I'm a wretch. And I'm a wreck. And no control. And no respect. You can tell by my motions my intent. You can tell by my motions what this love meant. Rainbow bend. You desire me with no consent.